Hey, this is John Carlos, and Hot Topic got the exclusive pre-release on the Funko Pop Rocket Raccoon Guardians of the Galaxy figure. Now this is the same figure that will be available without the little Hot Topic pre-release sticker. It's not an exclusive. I looked at a bunch of these at Hot Topic before I picked this one, and most of the headwork on this is pretty clean. The ears are clean, the eyes are good. I saw one that had some sort of black smearing around the eyes. What you need to be on the lookout for is the white area of paint on this. If you could see this whole section that leads to a point in the middle of his brow, I saw some where it was a little askew so that this center point was over at 11 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. Also be on the lookout for some smearing around the edges of his brows. But the nose is clean. All the noses I saw were clean. For the most part, Rocket Raccoon's head is actually painted really well. It's the body that you need to look out for with all the little details. Let's say his gun here, this back section that's mostly black. On the inside of his arm, you can see that that black section still has the kind of brown vinyl that hasn't been painted properly. And speaking of brown vinyl exposed, if you look at his left thigh here, where the brown plate meets his orange jumpsuit, you can see that there's a whole section where the two paint schemes don't meet, and you can see the brown vinyl underneath and in the middle there. Every single one I saw had that sort of brown vinyl line exposed where the orange and the brown aren't meeting. If you see one that is clean like that, good for you, because I did not see one. Also, these two brown lines here that kind of curve down, all but one I saw had sort of light kind of painting where more orange was exposed. I only saw one that had perfectly painted brown hoops. But that figure had more cons than pros overall, which is why I didn't get it. But that one did have a good jumpsuit. Some have excess orange paint. This one's pretty good, though. I mean, aside from those little brown hoops and that thigh thing, his outfit, for the most part, looks really good. Almost every single one I saw had his sort of black toenail claws kind of bleed over past the edge of the nail. So there's nothing I could really do about that. All of them had a really, really good tail paint, though. All of them had the stripes painted really, really well. Now, while I may have some nitpicks about the paint, like how that brown panel isn't fully painted and there's a big glob of orange on there, the sculpting on this little body is really, really good. You can see all the little detail in the gun, and I think the sculpting that went into his front outfit and all the little straps that go across it, I think it looks really, really good. Now, my biggest nitpick about this, of course, is that it's a bobblehead, and I hate bobbleheads. Not just because I think they're silly, but also you can't turn the head like you can on other regular Funko Pop figures. Sometimes just turning a head makes a figure more dynamic if its gun is kind of pointed in the direction it's looking, you know, like this versus that. I like having that control over a figure. And also, you can kind of see that his head's tilted a little more downward. I mean, ideally, there wouldn't be this much room in the back and it wouldn't be this close in the front. It'd be, you know, more like this, so that I mean, I have the camera kind of tilted down a little bit, but I'd like if his head was a little more upright instead of tilting down. However, he is a badass character, so tilting his head down does make him look a little more badass and threatening. So that's kind of cool. But sometimes, you know, you get figures' heads that are like totally crooked or like off to the side, and I think having that bobblehead spring just really is such a negative factor to like the perfect sculpt pose of a head. I can't stand bobbleheads, and I hope one day Funko can just stop putting springs in my heads. I've got like crooked-headed Thors and all sorts of weird stuff that I just have to deal with. But overall, I know it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but this Rocket Raccoon does look really cool. Like, I think the body pose looks awesome. The sculpting on the head and the paint on the head's great. If you get one that's kind of looking downward like mine, all I can recommend is you put it on a slightly higher shelf. But yeah, thanks for watching.